There are stories that don't belong on paper secrets, that whisper louder in silence than they ever could in words. Tonight, I want to take you into one such story. A woman who thought she had everything: a stable home, a kind husband, and a love built on years of promises. On the surface, it looked perfect, predictable, safe. But behind closed doors, her heart ached for something more, something wild, something that shook her soul awake. And then temptation arrived, not from a stranger, but from someone dangerously close. Someone who had always been there, waiting on the edges of her life, until one moment changed everything. What began as laughter and conversation turned into something heavier, something she couldn't deny. What happens when passion collides with loyalty? When safety is no longer enough, and the risk of losing everything becomes the only thing that makes you feel alive. Stay with me, because this story isn't just about betrayal. It's about the dangerous truths that live inside us all. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 31 years old, and what I'm about to share is something I never imagined I'd speak aloud. It began with a simple truth. What I thought I wanted from marriage wasn't what my heart truly needed. When I married Daniel, my college sweetheart, I believed our love was strong enough to last forever. He was steady, kind, and reliable, a man who thrived on order, safety, and predictability. For years, I convinced myself that this was happiness, a tidy little house, a routine that made sense, and a husband who always provided. But beneath that perfect picture, something essential was missing. The spark, the passion, the fire that makes your pulse quicken and your body come alive. It had vanished. At first, I didn't notice. I told myself this was how marriage was supposed to feel after the honeymoon faded. But deep down, I longed for something more. Something wilder, deeper, stronger than anything Daniel could ever offer. And that's when Ethan entered my life. He wasn't just another man. He was Daniel's closest friend, someone who had been part of our world for years. Ethan was everything. Daniel wasn't adventurous, bold, unpredictable. He worked in construction, his hands rough, his body hardened by years of labor, his confidence radiating with every word he spoke. It started innocently, the way dangerous things often do. Ethan would drop by when Daniel was working late, fixing little things around the house. I'd hand him a drink and we would really talk in ways Daniel and I hadn't in years. Ethan made me feel alive again, like the woman I thought I'd lost. One night, something shifted between us. As I passed him a glass of water, his fingers brushed mine and a spark shot through me. Our eyes locked, and in that instant, I knew this was no longer just friendship. I tried to pull away, but the thought clung to me. Here was a man who made me feel wanted, seen, awake. The days that followed were tense, charged with something unspoken. Every time Ethan came by, my heart raced. Every time Daniel said his name, guilt burned in my chest. And yet, when I stood near him, that guilt was drowned by something stronger desire. It didn't take long before that desire could no longer be contained. One evening, Daniel was away on a business trip, and Ethan came to fix a dripping faucet in the kitchen. We laughed, and when the laughter faded, silence pressed between us. His gaze searched mine, and before I could stop myself, I leaned in. What followed was a blur of fear, exhilaration, and the terrifying certainty that I had just crossed a line I could never uncross. Ethan's presence was overwhelming. He was bigger, stronger, and the intensity of what I felt with him was unlike anything I'd known. In that moment, the outside world disappeared. It wasn't only attraction, it was a hunger I'd buried for years. With Ethan, I wasn't the careful wife living a safe life. I was a woman rediscovering what it meant to truly feel. But passion always demands a price. The days after were heavy with secrets and guilt. I looked at Daniel and wondered how he couldn't see the truth etched across my face. I told myself it had been a mistake, something that would never happen again. But deep down I knew one taste of that fire was never enough. Ethan and I tried to resist, but the pull between us was undeniable. Each glance, each stolen moment carried the weight of something forbidden. And though I loved Daniel, the life I shared with him felt smaller, quieter, compared to the storm Ethan had awakened in me. I don't know how this story will end. Maybe the truth will come out and destroy everything I've built. Maybe I'll carry this secret forever, torn between safety and passion, between loyalty and desire. But one thing I know for certain, what I found with Ethan was wilder, stronger, and far beyond anything I ever imagined. And sometimes, the most dangerous truths are the ones that make us feel most alive. I find myself standing at a crossroads I never expected. Daniel's steady love still anchors me, yet Ethan's fire keeps pulling me into the storm. Each day the weight of my secret grows heavier, pressing against every word I say, every smile I force. I wonder how long can I walk this fragile line before everything breaks. Maybe one day the truth will come out, tearing apart the life I've built, brick by brick. Or maybe it will stay hidden, buried in the quiet spaces of my heart, where only I can feel its burn. I don't know which fate will be worse, losing everything I've known or living forever with the ache of a love that was never meant to be mine. But as I lie awake at night, one question haunts me most. Was the fire worth the ashes it will leave behind?